Hi everyone, how are we today? Just doing our shadow work reading for the full moon. Okay, so this is a really super interesting full moon this month. Okay, so we have the full moon in Capricorn, and it's actually the first of two full moons in Capricorn this year. So we're seeing the very start of the Capricorn energy for this full moon, and the next full moon will be, toward the very end of Capricorn. So this is actually called a strawberry full moon. Um, but it's all about it's a very interesting one because it's kind of like a two-parter. All right, so this particular one, it is all about getting serious about what you want in life, and really focusing on the idea of your ambition. All right, addressing fears, removing deception, tapping into that ambition, removing any limiting beliefs, slowing down, focusing, reflecting on all your past patterns. And this is not just your past patterns recently, this is like the last 10, 20 years of your life, and stepping into your own power, and not allowing fear, insecurities, self doubt to stop you anymore. Okay, but one of the main themes I'm seeing with this full moon, which I have actually been picking up very heavily in the collective energy as well as in personal readings, is this energy of seeing through deception when it comes to relationships, and the way that you look at relationships, and the way that you see the people that you're in relationships with, whether these be, romantic relationships or friendships. It for a lot of you, it's probably going to be friendships as well, and really looking within yourself to find any issues with the way that you're dealing with relationships, seeing through any sort of deceptive, self-deceptive behaviors when it comes to the way that you deal with relationships, the way that you deal with issues within relationships as well. Okay, so very interesting full moon. So I have actually decided I am going to be doing this reading a little bit differently this week. I am going to be focusing this month on the four signs that are going to be most affected by the full moon, because it is quite a strong full moon, and because it's kind of like a month cycle here where this shadow work stuff is actually going to kind of be ongoing, but it is going to be generalized for all the other signs. But there is four particular signs that are going to be probably more affected than others, especially if you've got more than one placement in multiple of the four signs. So the four signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Okay, so we're seeing um, Capricorn, full moon in Capricorn during Cancer season. So, of course, those two are going to be heavily affected. But Libra and Aries are also going to be very heavily affected as well. The other elements of each, the other two signs of each element, as you'll notice, each of those is just one of each element. So one earth, one fire, one water, one air. The other two signs I will actually be grouping collectively, because I am just sort of picking up on that very, regardless of whether you feel connected to that other connected sign that I'll be doing with your sign today. The energy is very similar at the moment. And so as a collective reading, I just felt that would actually work a lot better this time around. I can't really explain it, but the energy is telling me to do that. So I will be doing the four main signs that are affected here, and then I will be grouping the other two of each element together. So we will only be doing, I believe it works out to be 9, like 9 readings today. I'll make sure I timestamp all the signs in the normal in the order, and I'll timestamp it all in the description box. Okay, so that you can just go straight to your sign, regardless of whether you're an individual read or a collective with another sign read. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to everybody. But those other signs that are not the four main, you will still be affected. But what I'm sort of seeing is that this month it's going to be kind of like a progression, where this is like a whole month worth of this shadow work sort of, on and off, these issues coming up. And then by the next full moon, we'll actually be focusing a little bit more on reflection from this last month, and then gratitude for the changes in our life that have been made, whether that be just within the last month or because we've been reflecting on, the patterns of our life prior. We'll be focusing a little bit more on the gratitude side of shadow work, okay? Because something that's been coming up a lot lately in the energy is the fact that, shadow work, yes, it's fantastic because we're looking at the darker sides of ourself and facing the darker sides, assimilating those into ourselves, finding balance within the dark. Okay, but the interesting thing a lot of people don't really talk about is everything needs a counter. So, shadow work, light work as well. Okay, so we need to actually stop and face the more positive aspects as well. So next month we will be focusing a little bit more on the positive aspects, within shadow work. So um, because it's very hard for people to focus on the positive qualities within themselves. It's easy for people to focus on things like, self-doubts and fears and limiting beliefs. It is somehow easier to face than, the struggles that we have with self-love and self-worth and all those sorts of things. So we will be focusing a little bit more on that at the next full moon. Okay. So I hope that it has explained it. I have sort of rattled on a little bit here, but I hope that explains why I'm doing this reading the way that I am today, and that we will have a sort of kind of a part two next full moon, a counter for this particular video. So I will refer back to this one when I do that in a month's time for the next full moon in July. Okay, please subscribe to the channel if you've listened to me for this long. I would really appreciate it. We are just a small channel here, so non-monetized or anything like that. So in order to continue the channel, I do really need that support, guys. So please make sure you do subscribe. Leave me comments. Let me know what you think of this sort of layout. If that's kind of still resonated for you, become relevant for you. If you've gotten something from the reading, I do appreciate every single comment. It does mean the world to me, guys. But I've got the Heal Yourself reading cards, as well as the Red Hand Lenormand. Okay, and so I will be starting with the earth signs. Firstly, Capricorn as an individual sign there, being that it is the full moon in Capricorn. Okay, so as always, I will be taking the timestamps. Forgive any coughing or sniffling. I am still having those ongoing sinus issues. I've had quite a lot of stuff going on lately. I find the more energy work that I'm doing, the less I'm concentrating on my physical. So it kind of falls behind a little bit sometimes. So I do apologize if that is affecting any of the readings with, sniffling and whatnot. It's winter here in Australia, guys. It's, we've just had the winter solstice yesterday. So I know it's summer solstice for a lot of you guys, but here in Australia it is winter. So it's actually very cold at the moment, and pretty much everyone has been complaining about the cold. So it's kind of explainable for the season. Okay, so getting into it with Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to look at for their shadow work? What does Capricorn need to look at for their shadow work, please? Capricorn, shadow work for Capricorn. Oh, starting off with some harder energy for you, Capricorn. Selling out, okay? So this is what are you putting ahead of yourself? Whereabouts in your life are you selling out and you're, putting your focus on something that is not actually in line with your truth and your true desires? And because, such a heavy focus on ambition, being the sign of Capricorn, this full moon, big focus on your true ambitions and, looking back at whereabouts in your life have you kind of sold yourself out, for money, for fame, for, love, for things like that. Where have you put yourself behind? And your true wants and needs and desires, where have you let them fall to the wayside because you've put the focus on something that's not necessarily, in line with your true self here and your true desires here. Having a look at that at the moment, Capricorn, but also patience. Okay, so anyone that does, watch the Capricorn readings regularly will probably know that I personally have a big issue with patience. Being a Capricorn, they do try to tell us that Capricorn are, very very patient, but it's a double-edged sword, that patience stuff. I personally struggle a lot with patience. I like to, when I want to get it done, I want to get it done now. So it's really kind of asking us to look at the idea of patience and because I feel like for a lot of you, you're probably like me, and if you actually stop and look back, you have probably shown a lot of patience in certain aspects. When you really 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 want something, you're like, it's like that, what's that phrase, like flogging a dead horse. Even if you know something is not working, it's not working, it's not working, but Capricorn, you just want it so bad that you just keep on waiting for it to work. You keep on, pushing, trying to get that result, trying to win, trying to, have control over that situation. And so you do have this sort of deadly kind of patience when it comes to things that you really are telling yourself that you do want, but sometimes that's hurting you a little bit as well. So looking at those issues, that where that sort of plays out for you within relationships, especially, like because once again, very common stereotypical Capricorn thing, is there relationships in your life where you have, given people more than enough chances, as opposed to the stereotypical Capricorn just cut someone out completely, and we're all guilty of it at times. We'll cut some people out completely, and others we've got the patience of a saint for that person. So really looking at those sorts of things in your life, and why has this person been given 50 chances while this one, as soon as they messed up, out the door with you. What's the defining difference? What are you selling out? Are you selling yourself out for something? Is it a fear that you've put on yourself that if I don't be more patient with that person, if I don't give that person 50 chances, am I going to miss out on something? I feel like that's sort of what it may be for a lot of you here. Shadow work for our Capricorns. What does Capricorn need to know for their shadow work, please? I feel like this is coming through a little bit more like advice, Capricorn. Oh, advice / reassurance, possibly. We do firstly have the city coming out, though. Okay, so the city really does talk about this is that selling out kind of energy where you're just keeping yourself so busy and feeling as though you've got to run everything. You're the mayor of this city, and you've got to make sure the streets are clean. You've got to make sure all the buildings are built. You're trying to take on too much. you're keeping too busy. You're going to overload yourself. It's like you alone cannot run a whole city. You need to delegate. If you want to keep the streets clean, yeah, that's fine, but you need to delegate to some street sweepers. And the builders, you need to delegate to the builders. It's one thing to manage all these things, but you do need to delegate a little bit more here, Capricorn. You're trying to build this whole city all by yourself, and put every single brick in the ground, and sweep every street yourself. And it's kind of got you a little bit stuck in the rat race as well here. I feel for some of you, there's definitely this issue of selling yourself out and allowing yourself to get stuck in the rat race. Stuck in material pursuit, stuck in reality in a big sense here, Capricorn, that you're just trying to keep yourself so focused and busy and do everything, be everyone. That you have sort of sold out your truth and yourself and your own true purpose, rather, for the sake of managing everyone and everything and doing everything for everyone. Okay, so needing to look at that a little bit here, Capricorn. But we do have, I feel like this here is some sort of advice or reassurance for you here, Capricorn. We do have the rider coming through, which is generally good news on the way. All right, so there is good news on the way in regard to, I feel for a lot of you, there's something that you have, shown a lot of patience for, or someone for some of you that you have shown a lot of patience for. And it's kind of showing you that there's a reason that you've got this patience, because lo and behold, here comes this bike with good news saying, here, your parcel's here, Capricorn. I know it's late, but here's your parcel. It's the patience is being rewarded. I'm kind of feeling that, the more that you actually try to practice patience in all aspects, and maybe give that person that you've just cut off cold turkey, maybe give them benefit of the doubt, maybe give them another chance. Yeah, we all know that they're probably going to screw you over all over again, but it's doing it for you, not for them, because we do have the child coming through here as well, which the child is looking at things, a little bit more innocently, looking at things like, this could actually be, children look at things like, wow, this could be anything I want it to be. They'll pick up a rock and it could be my pet, but it could be, it could be a car, and I go vroom, and it could be anything. They look at things like, this could be anything. This and kind of needing a little bit of that naivety within yourself, with the way that you're approaching relationships, especially here, Capricorn, because it may pay off for you in a good way by giving people that little extra bit of leeway that you maybe normally wouldn't, which it kind of goes against my normal advice here, Capricorn, but that's what's coming through, because with the child, it's all part of the adventure. It's like, oh, it's all just fun. It's all just a fun, playful experience. Have fun with it. Just have fun with it and be a little bit more light-hearted and be a little bit more playful with the energy around you. Be a little bit more, adventurous with, giving people chances and being a little bit more patient with relationships. Okay, and with yourself as well, Capricorn. We do also have the letter. So whatever this is that for a lot of you have been very, very patient for, I'm kind of getting this energy too that for some of you this is something you've kind of been, it's like you've been waiting your whole life for something, and lo and behold, finally the rewards coming through. So there will be some sort of communication incoming. I feel like for a lot of you this is actually going to happen within this moon period. So between this full moon and the next full moon, I do feel as though for a lot of you, you are going to get some sort of communication that this good news, Capricorn, this your parcel has arrived. Whatever that might be in your particular situation. So overall, relatively positive for you there, Capricorn. A little bit of some things to sort of consider, but overall, it does feel as though there's a bit of a reward for all your hard work at the end of it all. Okay, so you are more than welcome to, check your other placements, especially if you do have strong placements in a particular sign, so earth, air, fire, or water. It's a bit easier to check all your signs today because I will be grouping the rest of the signs, um, you know, as two rather than individually. So each element will be divided into one sign, two signs. Okay, so we've got you, Capricorn, and then we'll be moving on to Taurus and Virgo. Um, so yeah, feel free to check your other placements, especially your moon sign, being the full moon, of course. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you on the next shadow work reading as well. But obviously I do upload very regularly, so make sure you do keep an eye out for any relevant videos to you. Okay. All right, so just timestamp for us here, and that's moving on to Taurus and Virgo. Okay, so Taurus and Virgo as the remaining Earth collective. Taurus and Virgo. What do Taurus and Virgo need to know in regard to their shadow work, please? Taurus and Virgo. What do Taurus and Virgo need to know in regard to their shadow work? That beautiful Earth energy, Taurus and Virgo. If you don't understand why I'm doing the two in one, make sure you do watch that intro, guys, explaining the full moon a little bit more there. We do firstly have sexuality coming through for you, Taurus. I have seen this sort of energy quite a lot this last week for a lot of different signs, actually. But we also have the victim consciousness card. Okay, so this is actually a very interesting energy here, Taurus and Virgo, because it kind of asks you to look at the way that you present yourself within relationships, the way that you connect to people. Like I'm kind of getting this energy of like asking, because with the victim consciousness, that's that energy of, because it's shadow work. It's going to be a little bit confronting here and there, guys, but it is a little bit that energy of, where are you playing the victim? Where are you, doing things and then turning around and going, oh, why is that person treating me that way? Even though you kind of know that they're treating you that way because you did this, which it's got to do with your the way you present yourself sexually. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean to be actual, sex, but it's like some of you may be the sort of person that flirts without kind of realizing it, or you're just a very flirty natured person, but then you turn around and kind of play the victim when people think that you're flirting with them, but you're very aware of that. It's kind of because that's how you present yourself, and for others of you, it's the opposite. So it's like you present yourself very stoic and unemotional, and then wonder why no one understands your emotions. Okay, so it's kind of like that kind of energy is what I'm getting here. Um, Thinking about, if you're feeling persecuted by the way that people treat you within relationships, it doesn't matter what it is, really. Um, some sort of, it feels like, yeah, if you are feeling as though you're a victim of a certain type of treatment from others, whether it be friends, love, relationships, whatever, asking yourself, what are you actually presenting that is making these people react to you in that way? Okay, so if you're like me and you're someone that wears your cleavage out quite a lot, and then you wonder why people are looking at your boobs, like kind of that energy. Okay, you kind of know that's why they're looking because they're right there. You've got them out. But also, I don't mean that in a. I hope that everyone understands. I don't mean that in a victim shaming way or anything like that, because that's a touchy subject, I suppose. But I just like wearing things like that. So I totally understand that, if you want to show off your body, that's fine. I enjoy doing the same. So I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, guys, but I don't mean it in that way, if that makes sense. Like foot in mouth. I think it just sometimes I say things that, and then I kind of realize after the fact that it could be interpreted differently to the way that I mean. So I just want to be clear that I am trying to present that in a non-confrontational kind of way. I'm just using that as examples, I suppose. Taurus and Virgo. What does Taurus and Virgo need to know in regard to their shadow work, please? I'll just shake my head at myself, guys. Got a lot wanting to come out for you. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of still talking about that same example. Because firstly we have the cross, okay? So the cross sometimes can talk about, like burdens that you're carrying, your cross to bear, so to speak. It's like, yeah, the persecution element, feeling persecuted. That word keeps popping up here. That you're feeling burdened by persecution. You're feeling burdened by judgment of others, and other people are chaining you to this cross and parading you around. But then we see the lily, which is asking you to actually be a little bit more emotionally intimate with yourself about the full truth of that, and like using that same example of up on the cross. But did you like present yourself like, here, I'm here, guys, tie me up? Like, that's how it's wanting to come through like this. It's a bit bizarre. But us, like, did you put yourself in that situation where you saw that they were building a cross, and you saw that they had big nails, and you went and like poked the bear and was like, oh, what are you guys up to? It's about accepting your own role in this persecution that you're feeling, and understanding why people react to you in certain ways. Because I am getting that same thing again with the judgment, that one, like, in the emotional component coming through a little bit here too, because the lily is a very emotional card. And I feel like, this is something that you've been maybe doing for a very long time with that lily energy as well. And so, you haven't actually stopped and thought about it for a very long time, because that's just how you've presented yourself for a very long time. So it's kind of this energy of, yeah, like the example of the emotions that I'm getting here is that, yeah, you hide your emotions and you don't tell people how you're feeling, and then wonder why they react to you like you've got no feelings about the situation, because you're not showing them those feelings. You're not sharing those feelings, and not making it obvious that, that I feel anger, I feel judged by you, or whatever it is in your particular situation. You're not actually exuding that, and then you're wondering why people are not reacting. Oh, Taurus Virgo must be angry, because you're not actually telling them, I'm angry. I really hope that makes sense. It's coming through very convoluted a little bit here. It's coming through in weird ways for you, which is a little bit odd. You guys are normally pretty chill, level, easy to read messages. But we also have the hourglass and the stork. So it does let us know that in time, these things are, you're going to start to be able to stir up change within this, and get people to react to you in different ways. It's about coming up with new ideas and taking the time to actually just stop and look at the issues, because I feel like for a lot of you, like I said, this is just a part of who you are now. You've been doing this for so long that you don't even sort of recognize that that's what you're doing. Um, and then wondering, like I keep getting this, and then wondering why they act that way towards you, or why they treat you like you don't get angry when you're angry as. Um, so it's taking the time to really think about new ideas on how you can actually share those emotions, or show those emotions, and having new ideas on how you can actually, um, exude the energy that gets the reaction that is actually right, rather than getting that judgmental reaction, or the reaction of, oh, Taurus, Virgo, they don't care about that, when you really do. Okay, so that you're not having to carry the weight of that anymore, that you're not feeling persecuted by that anymore, coming up with new ideas on, I feel like for a lot of you, it's just the way that you interact with people, and the way that you, hold yourself when it comes to other people around you. Okay, so I hope that made sense for you guys, but you're more than welcome to check your other placements, of course. Please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know if that did actually make sense and resonate to you and your personal situation. Or, even if you have to leave it a week or two and, get back to me once you've had some sort of run-in with that particular issue. Because, with this shadow work stuff, sometimes it shows us what we're going to be dealing with in the next week or two as well, especially with this particular full moon. Okay, but yeah, that's what we've got for you guys. So I will move over to the fire signs next, starting off with Aries. Okay, I'm just going to quickly pause for a drink and then we'll move on to fire signs. Okay, Aries, what does Aries need to know for their shadow work? What does Aries need to know for their shadow work, please? I hope everyone's watched the intro, explaining the full moon, explaining the way I'm doing this reading today. Aries. Letting go. Okay. So this is going to be a big full moon for you guys, okay? Letting go is a hard issue all in itself. It's easy to say, I'm going to let go of the past. Much harder to actually do, and actually let go of things, especially things that have hurt you and caused you pain. I'm straight away, I'm getting this message. Oh, this came up in a few readings lately. I've been saying it so much this week. The past is history. Tomorrow is the mystery. And it's all about, this energy of when it comes to letting go. If you are allowing the past to, yes, it hurt. Yes, that happened. Yes, it was horrible. But the more that you dwell on that, the more you're allowing that to continue to hurt you, continue to cause you pain. So it's like a bit of a loop system here that, the more that you focus on the past and the issues, the more that you're feeling the negative from those things, and going through that cycle where it comes back around and it bites you in the butt all over again, hurts you every time it pops up. Whereas if you start looking at the past as, what can I learn from that? a lot of the time too, it's accepting that I wasn't the wrong one. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't the bad guy. I wasn't, you know, that is something that happened to me, yes, but I can't change it. It happened. I have to accept that that has happened. If I continue to let it hurt me, I can't experience better than that. All I will experience is that over and over again. I need to allow myself to experience the future. The future hasn't happened yet. It can be whatever I want it to be. And whatever I allow it to be, am I really going to allow it to be that same old pain, that same old hurt? Okay, so it's going to be a very big month for you, Aries, I feel. We also have the Alchemy card. So this is showing us that this is all about the magic within you. You are the one in control of this. You are the one in control of how much you allowed the past to hurt you. You are the one that can change that can turn that into lessons and choose to think about things differently, think about the future instead of thinking about the past. Okay, it's just coming through like that, that it's all about the way that you're thinking about things and not allowing yourself to sort of dwell and think about things that you cannot change. Because if you keep thinking about things that you cannot change, they will continue to be the energy that you're surrounded by. Whereas if you're focusing on the things that you can change, which is the future, the things that haven't happened yet, that's where you can actually manifest positive, new change energy. All right? Aries, what does Aries need to know in regard to their shadow work? And with that alchemy card too, it shows us straight away that you have the power, Aries. You have this magic within you. You can be whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can let go. You can have better experiences than that. You can turn those rocks into gold for yourself here. Okay. So we do have it. So for a lot of you, it's got to do with relationships, friendships, the way that you deal with people as a friendship level, because we do have the dog energy firstly there. So I'm seeing 3 different subjects coming through here, because that's what it's feeling like, 3 different subjects that are coming through straight. It's just straightforward, because we've got friendships, the issue of friendships, your relationship with money, that's the fish there. So your relationships with friends, your relationships with money, and Aries, your relationships with sex. This is all about seeing through what I was saying in the intro, that this is removing the deception from your life. Seeing through the deception, seeing people as they truly are, bringing to light any issues within yourself regarding how you approach friendships, how you approach money, how you approach sex, okay? How you approach passion and ambition. And once again, you are the alchemist here. If you don't like the way that is working for you, change it. Because this full moon it's this energy about looking at these relationships. It's all about you're looking at these issues that have arisen for you in order to make changes, to find solutions to these problems, to these issues. And I do see you here straight away. We have the key, opening yourself up to the solutions. Because on the other side of the doors you open here, it's success, making successful changes within the way that you deal with these things, with the way that you approach friendships, with the way that you approach money, your relationship with money, especially with the clover here as well. Taking a chance to, open those doors within yourself and walk through them. make that, turn that into gold for yourself. I feel like for a lot of you, it's going to happen without you even kind of realizing it, that you're, just looking, just opening the door and looking at the issue and noticing the issue is going to help you change it, is going to help you let go of the negative energy attached to that and see what you need to do in order to get past that. Okay, and to take the chances, invest in the things you need to invest in with those aspects. So not I'm getting here, not investing in those friends that don't care about you, not investing in those bad friends, the ones that lead you astray, and the ones that I'm picking up here. If you, I'm picking up a very specific message here, because it's like the bad kids at school. You're hanging around the wrong crowd, and they're the kids that are, wagging school and going and doing drugs and all that sort of stuff. And you're like, oh, that they're my friends, but you don't want to be like that anymore, Aries. You're alchemizing here. You're so maybe choosing better friends. Okay, your relationship with money. You're choosing to start to look at money like, this is something I can have. I can be wealthy. I can be abundant. You will have it. You look through that doorway. Whatever it's now I'm seeing that everything the sun touches is yours, Simba. The way you approach sex and physical intimacy, the way that you approach your desires and your ambition in life, making the changes, going for the things, taking a risk to go for the things that you actually want, not the things that, not allowing fear to hold you back anymore. Okay, Aries? So that's what we have for you. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, of course, especially your moon sign being the full moon as well. But I will move on to the rest of the fire signs. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, guys. Leave me a comment. Let me know how that resonated for you. And then we will move over to, where am I? Sorry. Leo and Sagittarius. Okay. Just grab those timestamps for you. And Leo and Sagittarius. So Leo and Sagittarius grouping you together today. But if you're not sure why, check that intro, guys. I have explained the full moon. I have explained why, I just do what the energy tells me to do, guys. And so today that means Leo and Sagittarius collective. What does Leo and Sagittarius need to know for their shadow work? Leo and Sagittarius. What does Leo and Sagittarius need to know for their shadow work? It's happening. It's happening, Leo. It's happening. Phoenix rising. Okay, so, there's been this full moon is about reflecting back on the last, 10, 20 years of your life, the patterns that you've been experiencing. It's happening. You're rising from the ashes of what you once were. Okay, so I saw a similar energy for Aries, our other fire sign. And, I love the Phoenix rising for you guys being a fire sign. It's, being fire signs, it's setting yourself on fire in order to rise from the ashes, burning yourself to the ground so you can rise again, completely brand new. I feel like for you, there's not as much. It's not as much. There may still be a few things you're needing to sort of close out. Just things that are no longer serving you. That they're not really working for you anymore. Removing any fears and limitations that you've put on yourself. especially when it comes to relationships and love. We have love coming through as well here. Okay, so for some of you, this is self-love. For others of you, this is the way you approach love, love life stuff, your relationships with love. And not just romantic relationships, but platonic relationships as well. The way that you offer love within platonic relationships. Um, do you offer love within platonic relationships? I feel like this is you needing to, like, doing things in a brand new way, approaching love and the idea of love in a brand new way, rising from the ashes and, removing those fears, especially. I keep getting removing your fears and your limitations here, and rising from the ashes, like really being born brand new here, where you're able to actually come from a loving energy a lot more towards people in your life, and you're more willing to approach even just the idea of love within your life. And once again, not necessarily romantic love either. All aspects of love. Self-love. You're actually starting to be able to work out how to love yourself. For those of you where that's, been an issue, been a part of your pattern. But we'll have a look here. Leo and Sagittarius. Leo and Sagittarius, please. Shadow work for Leo and Sagittarius. Our fiery fire signs. For some of you, it is romantic love, okay? Definitely romantic love for some of you. I see you here, Leo and Sag, being able to control your emotions in ways that you may never have been able to before. So rather than being reactive when it comes to your emotions, you're being a little bit more proactive when it comes to emotions, which seems to be a really good thing for you and for your energy here. We do have the ring coming out firstly, so definitely focusing on your relationships with others, the cycles that the patterns that you've been through in the past when it comes to the way that you interact with other people and the way that you approach relationships, both platonic and love, the way that you share love in those relationships. Just seeing you really approaching things in different ways to where you have in the past. We have the garden here. So the garden is about the way that you meet people as well. I feel like for a lot of you, you're actually, I'm getting that for a lot of you, you've up until you've had these cycles where when you've met people for the very first time, you have, I don't care what people think of me. I don't care what people think of me. They can think whatever they want. I'm going to act crazy. I'm going to act crazy. I'm going to act however I want. And you're actually realizing now that you don't want to be like that anymore, that you actually do want to care about what other people think about you because you respect yourself. You love yourself and respect yourself enough to want to portray yourself in a certain type of way, rather than portraying yourself, with a mask as it's an act. Okay, like in the past, you may have felt the need to put on a mask, put on a face. This is my face for when I meet new people. This is what I present myself to new people like. And nowadays you're kind of a little bit, this new version of you. You've got to. You're realizing that it's actually, it's not about putting on airs for other people's judgment. It's about respecting yourself and loving yourself and showing people when you first meet them that I love myself. I'm confident in who I truly am. I don't need to act a certain way to get your attention or, not get your attention. I'm just going to be me. I don't need to put on a mask. I don't need to put on a show. I don't need to create a relationship with you where you think of me in a certain kind of way, which is a way that I want you to think about me. You've been saying a long time. So Leo and Saggy, you've been saying for a long time, I don't care what people think about me. But yet you've been putting on this mask of, which is kind of like you have been in the past very controlling of how you wish to be perceived. And so you've been saying, I don't care what people think about me. But now you're actually kind of living it. And you're doing it in a way that is, it's a continuation of that sentence. Okay. It's, I don't care how people see me. I don't care how people perceive me. I care that I respect myself and I care how I perceive me. That's really fantastic. I actually really like this energy for you. Um, and so if that's something that you're still in the process of, it gives you some sort of food for thought there, and maybe to actually just consciously think about this issue and consciously think about the way that you present yourself and how you actually want to present yourself, what is respectful to you in the way that you present yourself to others, especially when you're meeting people for the first time, especially when you're like out in public, even just walking down the street. I feel like there's this energy of like in the past you've kind of gone, I don't care. I'm just going to walk down the street, in my pajamas because I don't care. I don't care. But, part of you does care. And were you in the past, were you portraying, was that what you wanted to portray, that you don't care what people think of you? Is that what you wanted them to see you? That, oh, Sagittarius and Leo, they don't care what people think about them. They're so chill and cool because they just do whatever they want. Whereas now you're kind of realizing that to actually do it from self-respect and to actually be yourself, it's sometimes it might still look like walking down the street in your pajamas. It may still look exactly the same, but it's where it's coming from within you that is the difference. Okay. And we also have the candle here. So, for a lot of you, this does have to do with romantic love as well, and the way that you present yourself with romantic love as well. And once again, exactly the same sort of issues here, and that, that you're understanding love for yourself on a different level, and you're kind of starting to like burn a candle for yourself, starting to actually really understand how to love yourself and romance yourself and, burn that eternal flame for you because you deserve it. So, brand new version of you. I really love this for you, Leo and Sag. This is, um, I'm just gonna call it like, so far I've only done the earth and fire signs, and I'm honestly feeling that this is going to be the best reading of the day, especially for shadow work. Shadow work can be quite confronting, and you guys have lucked out. But you are more than welcome to check your other placements if you do want something a little bit more confronting, especially your moon sign. That's usually very relevant during the full moon season as well. But leave me a comment and let me know how that resonates for what you're going through in your own individual life. I'd be very interested to hear from you all. But hopefully I'll see you all again soon. And I shall move over to the water signs. Okay, moving on to the water signs, starting with Cancer. Cancer, what does Cancer need to know in regard to their shadow work? What does Cancer need to know for shadow work, please? If you want to know more about the full moon, check out the intro, guys. I've explained how I'm doing this reading and, a little bit about what this full moon is all about, the influences and all that. Cancer. this is going to be a phase for you guys this month. I understand it's birthday season. Happy birthday, Cancer. But yes, this time period between this full moon and the next, it may be a little bit, I feel like it's residual roughness, if that kind of makes sense. Like, because the first card we have is healing. Okay, so still residual energy there with, still healing from some stuff and working through that, and, big time of reflection for you, looking back at not just what's happened. you know, I feel like for a lot of you, there's something that's happened in the last few years that you've still been healing from. But for a lot of you, it's actually bringing up this energy of, this is actually, you're starting to notice that this is actually part of a pattern that may have been ongoing for like 10 years, 20 years. I want to say before you even met that person. So for some of you, obviously this healing is connected to a person. But for others of you, it's part of a pattern that you have had within you, and you're starting to actually notice that pattern, and that's what we're healing from. I feel for a lot of you that um, that actual, extended pattern, that it's not just this one thing that you're healing from. It's actually a greater issue underlying the surface of that. Okay, and with the full moon energy, it's probably got a lot to do with the way that you interact with relationships, and the way that you interact with other people around you, the way that you interact and have a relationship with yourself as well. Because we do see courage coming through here. So needing to find the courage to really face this stuff and face these patterns, and move through this, break these cycles and start new cycles. Have the courage to start a new cycle and remove those limits you've put on yourself, telling yourself, I can only have things that are like this, or I can only have things that fit into this pattern. Even if it's a subconscious thing, there's a part of you that is being, if it fits into that cycle, cool, I get that, I understand that. It's courage to step into a brand new cycle, even though you don't know what that cycle is. Okay, so that's what I'm picking up for you here, Cancer. But we'll have a look with the Lenormand. Cancer. Cancer. Shadow work for Cancer, please. So yeah, a lot of fears being eradicated within yourself, limiting beliefs, and what was the other key word? Insecurities and self-doubts. Removing all those, the fears, I feel vulnerable about that, about myself. So it's time to have the courage to do it anyway, even if you feel anxious or nervous or vulnerable, insecure. Okay. Cancer. Feeling, for a lot of you, it's got to do with your self-love and the way that you approach intimacy as well. Just as a background here, but we do have the hourglass coming through first. So not only is it time to face this stuff, but it's letting us know that, it's been a long time. It's been, I'm just getting all these time references. It's been a long time. It is time to face this. It's time to heal. It's time to move through this. It's time to start new. It's still might take some time. It's an ongoing time process. You can see in this hourglass, there's still sand at the top, but especially when we get to next month's reading, when we're talking about gratitude, having gratitude for how much sand has already fallen through, rather than looking at how much you've got to go. Okay, so taking stock of how far you have come already, making sure you are doing that as well, because I do see heavy burdens on you here with the cross, but it does show us have faith in yourself, Cancer. You can do this. You can find the courage to start these new cycles and heal the way that you need to, the way that you need to, remove these limitations you've put upon yourself. It's time for you to face these burdens and remove them, take those shackles off, and have faith in yourself, have faith that things will work out for you. This is the card of destiny. It's also very religious, spiritual energy as well. So I do feel so with divine timing and the cross there, we do see that there's a very big spiritual aspect to this all as well, and having faith within yourself and having faith that you are going to heal completely. Well, like life is a healing process, right? So I don't think that there's any end to personal growth and evolution, as a side note. But it's time to remove those shackles, and it's time to have faith that you can remove that those shackles and move forward with your life. Okay, because we do see you coming from a lot of hard energy here. We have ruins as well as the void here. Okay, so they're rough energies. This is the things that have fallen to ruin around you, the things that I'm like you're walking through the ashes of your previous life here, and there's this huge temptation to allow this to just suck you down into this giant black hole and be done with it. But you fight through this. The sun shines at the end of those ruins. The sun is actually shining here. You don't have to see just the darkness. It's having the courage to, see the light for the darkness. Okay, because without the darkness, we don't know what light is. Okay, without the darkness, stars don't shine. Okay, so it's kind of having the courage to face the darkness and put the darkness into the ruin and focus on the sun ahead. Okay, so it's a very interesting energy I'm getting here for you. It's kind of a very spur you on kind of energy here, Cancer, where your shadow work is really wanting you to understand that without darkness there cannot be light. So believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel for you here, and have the courage to find it for yourself, whatever that light is for you. That light, I feel for a lot of you, just intuitively there, that light is in that new cycle for you, that breaking the chains of the past, healing from the patterns that you've been stuck in. That's the void that's trying to suck you back in, that pattern, that cycle. It's trying to suck you back into the loop. It's like an infinity loop that you can't, unless you actually break that, you can't escape. So it does try to suck you back in. It's like a black hole, and it tries to suck you in, trying to suck you in, trying to suck you in. So I do feel as though it is going to take you some time to, and constant effort, constant courage to. Yes, I feel that trying to draw me back in, but I'm choosing to go this other way instead. I'm choosing to break that cycle. I'm not going to allow that to um, take control of my life anymore, that cycle. I'm going to choose a new cycle, choosing a new cycle, choose a new cycle, choose a new cycle. Have gratitude for how far you've already come, Cancer, and have faith that you can, resist the black hole, because courage is on your side. And I do feel, with the cross there, destiny is on your side as well. All right, so there's a reason to have faith here, Cancer. It's all working in your favor, even though at the moment it may just look like darkness all around. It's actually, once again, that darkness only exists so that there can be light. Okay, so I hope that is resonating as strongly as it's coming through. for you there, Cancer. But you are more than welcome to check your other placements, especially your moon sign with the full moon. Quite strong during the full moons there. But I will move over to the other water signs. So I'll just take that timestamp for Scorpio and Pisces. Okay, Scorpio and Pisces. Shadow work for Scorpio and Pisces. Okay, so make sure you watch the intro so you kind of understand why I have Scorpio and Pisces together today, and so you can understand what this shadow work full moon is all about. Okay, Scorpio and Pisces. Shadow work for Scorpio and Pisces, please. Okay, pretty straightforward. You guys are going to be probably one of the least affected by this particular full moon cycle, I feel. It, but also in some ways still very affected, because for a lot of people this full moon is going to be about external relationships and their relationships with other people. Yours is about yourself, okay, and your relationship with yourself. And removing your the limits you've put on yourself, seeing through any self-deception that you have in regards to who you are, what you're worth, okay? Because we do have beauty and we do have love, okay? So both of those very heavily talk about self-appreciation, self-worth issues. All right, so that's going to be your focus for the month here, Scorpio and Pisces. Finding your inner beauty, and I did say in the intro that it will be next month's reading where we're focusing a lot more on the gratitude side of shadow work stuff here. But I'm getting this straight away for you here, that gratitude is very, very important for you at the moment, to show gratitude for yourself and appreciate yourself. Okay, which it can be a hard thing. I get it. But it's asking you to really stop and notice the beauty within and notice the love within. And especially for those of you who have struggled with love relationships, noticing, it was actually a Pisces who said it to me, and it's kind of stuck with me that, when you're in a relationship, doesn't matter whether it's a platonic relationship, romantic relationship, but all the love that you experience in that relationship, majority of that is a reflection of your love. Okay, so especially in those sorts of relationships where you feel slighted by that relationship in some sort of a way, understanding that if you hadn't have put so much of your own love into that, it would not have been a love at all. If that kind of makes sense, that all the love is your own. All that love was your own. So you put so much love into that thing, that person, that was actually coming from you. It wasn't necessarily coming from them. The love that you felt from them may have just been a reflection of all the love that you were putting into them. Okay, so it's a very interesting thing, and I hope that kind of makes sense. But all the love is yours. It's yours. You didn't feel love for that person if you couldn't feel love. Like all the love that you felt for that person or that thing, that came from here. It didn't come from the thing, it came from here. Okay? Um, so turn that back onto yourself. All that love that you had to give to them, to that, turn it back onto yourself. And understand that even just that in itself is a beautiful thing. Look how much love that you gave. Look how much love that you had to give. You know, we all have our breaking points, of course, but not gonna lie. But that came from within, and just that within itself, it's beautiful, and you're beautiful for that. And I'm getting that there's a lot of issues of self-worth and self-discovery, self-love that you're needing to sort of look at the moment, and appreciate yourself a little bit more. Okay, Scorpio and Pisces. Scorpio and Pisces. Shadow work for Scorpio and Pisces, please. We have the Clover. Fortune surrounds you, okay? This is the card of good luck. Luck is on your side. Take that chance to give all that love back to you, okay? Instead of giving it to others like you have in the past and it maybe hasn't worked out, try giving it to yourself. You know, if you're the sort of person that has, you know, you gave somebody a lot of gifts, for example, buy yourself a gift. Wrap it up if you need to, you know. Take a chance on you. Take a chance on you. Now I'm hearing that ABBA song, guys. Take a chance on me. I don't even know all the words. Take a chance on your soul as well. You have a beautiful soul, okay? The energy I'm getting here it's gorgeous, okay? We have the cross coming through here, which is all about destiny. Destiny has a way of finding its way. Fate, spiritual stuff, religious stuff, your spiritual belief and your religious belief can help you release these burdens within yourself, and having faith in yourself, having faith that taking a chance on you and taking a chance to love you, it's going to work out for you here, because we also see the moth coming through, this evolution within yourself, that you are evolving, you're setting yourself free and becoming this beautiful butterfly or moth, flying around the world, and that's giving me that the butterfly effect thing, that the more that you love yourself, the more that love will surround you. Okay, you like attracts like. The more that you love yourself, the more other people will love you. The more that you're in that energy of I am worthy, I am beautiful, you're going to attract that to yourself as well. Have faith in yourself, trust yourself, listen to your intuition as well, but take a chance on loving you, because if especially for those of you who have struggled in romance, like if someone doesn't love you, doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, we all die alone, right? So maybe the person that you're going to die with should be the one that loves you the most. I know that's a weird way of putting it, but if maybe another way, a better way is if you don't love yourself, who's going to love you? It's a bit more sadistic, but it's kind of the vibe there, that if you don't love yourself, who's going to step up to the plate and do that for you? You've done that for so many other people. How about you turn that around and do that for yourself instead? Okay. So that's what we have for you. More than welcome to check your other placements. Your moon sign quite strong during the full moons, and we will have the other full next month, another shadow work reading, which will be kind of paired with this one. So keep an eye out for that. But also, a lot of videos uploaded every week, so keep an eye out for all the relevant ones for yourself, and make sure you subscribe, guys. I really appreciate that. Okay, but I'm going to move on to our air signs, starting with Libra. Okay, Libra, what does Libra need to know for their shadow work? Libra, what does Libra need to know in regards to shadow work, please? Shadow work for our Libra. Make sure you watch the intro, guys, where I do explain the full moon a little bit more, what it's all about, and the energies that we're going to be facing. You guys are one of the signs most affected by this full moon cycle, so make sure you check that intro out so you can sort of know a little bit more about what to expect. Because, yeah, another rough-ish one here. I'm definitely seeing elements of this, definitely the 4 signs that are pegged to be hit the hardest with this full moon. I'm definitely kind of seeing it coming through in the energy. And firstly, we have hole in the soul. You feel like there's something missing. Okay, Libra? I kind of see straight away what's missing here, what you feel like is missing here. Because the next card we have is discover your life purpose. Okay, so there's this space within you that you are becoming aware of. You may have already become aware of this space within you. It's like some of you, it may feel like a gaping hole that needs to be filled with something. This full moon, you're looking back at cycles in your life that have filled the gap, so to speak. Getting weird example. I'm getting the weirdest examples this reading. I'm kind of getting for you here that we've got like it's like a car engine, right? And there's a hole in the car engine, and you're plugging that up with styrofoam, and then the engine heats up and the styrofoam breaks away, and so then you go back and put more styrofoam in, breaks away. But we're getting to that point now. This is the point you're getting to now, is where you're going, I'm going to try something different this time. Instead of putting styrofoam in that hole, I'm going to get a welder to put metal in the hole and weld it back together. It's car engine. Filling the hole with metal and, welding it back together. Wow, that actually works. That's actually filling the gap and solving the problem. So for a lot of you, this styrofoam, what you've been filling this gap with, has been things like relationships are not healthy for you, addictions, distractions, things that are not permanent solutions, because that hole, that styrofoam, it needs to be a solution. It needs to be healing and growth rather than, oh, it's all right, I'll just get drunk and I'll forget about it. It'll be fine. Might fill the hole for a little while, but it's not a permanent solution. Okay, and so this is the point you're at, where you're kind of realizing the cycles I've been through. I've been plugging that gap with whatever it is for you. You know, it's different for everybody, right? And some of us, it's multiple things. You know, so some of you may have had multiple styrofoam attempts with different things, you know. But this time around, you're filling that gap with, I am finding something within myself that I am feeling really drawn to, strong desire, strong. It's this life purpose, your life purpose. You're starting to understand that no, there's something else that's going to plug this gap, and it's not unhealthy, and it's not an addiction. It's not any of that. It's not a distraction. Some of you, I'm getting that this may be within the next month. Some of you may be, you know, choosing to quit your job and start a business and things like that, to that sort of extent where you're making some big life changes because you're realizing, no, look, I want to do this. This is where my passion is. I want to follow my passion. And I feel like for some of you that's exactly what's happening here. Is the styrofoam in the past has been, I'll just take that job because I need the money. I'll just take this job because I'm good at that job. I'll just do this job. But you don't love it. It doesn't set a fire within you. You're not passionate about it. And now you're finding things that you're actually passionate about. And that's what's going to fill this gap for you. Okay, so you're entering into this cycle where, you know, facing these issues and facing these cycles and noticing the patterns of how you've filled that gap is going to help show you, hang on, if this didn't work and that didn't work and this didn't work, what will work? Okay, what is missing from my life? And for some of you, it's going to be a pretty easy, straightforward answer. But for others of you, it's going to be something a little bit more like, oh, there's maybe, you know, it's like it might take a little bit longer to really work it out for yourself. Shadow work for Libra. Shadow work for Libra, please. Shadow work for Libra. Pardon me. So I'm seeing the progression again. I'm maybe seeing a little bit more about what plugs the gap too, guys. Firstly, I'm seeing here the clouds and the chain. Okay, so for a lot of you, this is that styrofoam. Okay, that you've been feeling that you have no choice in something. You know, you're feeling trapped in anxiety. You've been trapped in depression, and that's what has filled that gap for you, is focusing on anxiety issues, focusing on depression. Like, it sounds a bit counterintuitive here, but it's like, for some of you, it's been easier to, oh, I'm just depressed, I'm trapped in this depression, rather than actually facing, hang on, no, there's something proactive I can do about this. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, it's like a superficial, when I'm saying depression and anxiety, I'm not talking about like, hard to explain what I'm kind of getting at here, but it's like, you've kind of kept yourself bound to that. You've allowed that to limit you and allowed that to be the plug, being allowed that to be the styrofoam, all right, and allowed that to keep you bound and trapped, and allowed that to try to, you know, because sometimes it's easier than trying something new, because new is scary, and sometimes the positive stuff is scary. Um, it's kind of that energy of better the devil you know, and that is kind of what I'm getting at. It's better the devil you know. That has been easier to allow yourself to stay trapped in that cycle than to try to fight your way out of that, and maybe have to face new devils, because you don't know what else could be. If you try to fill that gap with something else, you don't know that there's fear there. You don't know what that is going to be. So I just won't try. Is kind of what I'm getting here. So I hope that makes sense. The messages today have been like, I think for nearly every single sign I have said the phrase, I hope that makes sense. The messages have been coming out really bizarrely today, but like in a really kind of deep way. So it's been really weird. But that life purpose here, we see the heart and the rose. So for a lot of you, the answer lays within opening yourself up to what your heart truly desires, and understanding that beauty and romance has thorns, that sometimes there's going to be thorns when you open up your heart. Sometimes there's thorns. It's part and parcel. Doing it anyway, even if you're scared, because I feel like the thorns for you here are fear and the self-limiting insecurity stuff, self-worth stuff. But opening up your heart to actually ask yourself, what is it that I truly want in this life? Like I'm kind of getting like 30 years from now, what if you could say 30 years from now, I'm Libra, I did this with my life, and that was what I was so passionate about, and I'm so happy I did that and followed that path and had that in my life. What is that for you? What makes your heart go boom 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 boom? What makes you what do you love in this life? And it's, for some of you, this is connected to it's like romancing yourself a little bit. Um, you know, I feel like that's maybe a little bit of advice here. Taking yourself on a date and holding an interview with yourself and asking yourself, even that example I just used, like imagining you now interviewing yourself in 30 years' time. And, I've got to write your biography, and, you're talking to yourself in 30 years' time. I'm writing your biography, and I want to know, what are you most passionate about? What was the happiest things in your life? What do you love the most in your life? What would you want those answers to be? Okay? So I'm kind of getting this energy of you, and you can kind of even see it here in this card, because we've got the figure here playing the violin, and the girl just so he's kind of like romancing her, and she's like, oh, look at him playing guitar, oh, he's trying to woo her, and that's what you kind of need to do to yourself. What would woo you? If something came along and said, Libra, hi, here's this opportunity. What would be the perfect opportunity? What would be, and then striving for those things. Okay. I just, once again, I hope that makes sense, and I hope that helps. Let me know if that does resonate for you. Leave me a comment and let me know. You are more than welcome to check your other placements. Obviously, your moon sign with the full moon energy. And I'll move over to Aquarius and Gemini. Okay, Aquarius and Gemini. Shadow work for Aquarius and Gemini. So if anyone's wondering why I'm doing them as a grouping, make sure you do watch the intro where I do explain this full moon energy a little bit more. Okay, Aquarius and Gemini. Shadow work for Aquarius and Gemini. I'm definitely going to need to clarify these two cards together. We have wild. And we also have the sexuality card. I am getting a particular message, though. These two cards together don't normally spill their information very easily. But I am getting a specific message here. It's about breaking traditions. Seems to be the main theme I'm getting here. That, and like as with any reading, it can be reversed as well. So for some of you, it's because this full moon, it's about the cycles, looking back at the cycles throughout our life and the patterns that we've created. And it's got to do with breaking tradition. So how have you broken tradition in your life? How haven't you broken tradition in your life? Definitely going to need to clarify this energy, because for some of you it's asking you like what's stopping you, like why do you feel as though you have to be a certain way? I feel like that's what the tradition is that it's this external energy of you feeling as though you have to be like this or you have to do these things, and you're needing to look at what that pattern has created for you, because you have been too afraid to step outside that. And so it's about like breaking that and changing that cycle so that you're not doing what you have to do, or like that you're kind of breaking free and allowing yourself to run wild with your truth is kind of what I'm getting here, because there's external energy being put on you in the past, that you have to be a certain way, and your fear in your self-identity for a lot of you here, and insecurities and your self-doubt that, but if I do that, people will think this of me. If I do this, this will happen. And needing to slow down and focus on who is it that you really are, who, what energies do you need to break free from when it comes to tradition, because I am getting that sexuality energy. It's not really coming through. Usually it's about the way that you portray yourself towards others and the way that you like flirt and things like that. but it's coming through more so to do with just tradition. And then the wild energy is the breaking free. But we'll have a look here. Okay, Gemini and Aquarius. Shadow work for Gemini and Aquarius. Because I am also feeling that for some of you, there's this energy of you, like you've been told your whole life that, oh, Gemini, oh, Aquarius, you're so wild, you're so crazy, you're so out there, you're so, like, because we've got a lot of stereotypes with both Gemini and Aquarius. Okay, so Gemini, we get the stereotypes of, oh, you're what is it, two-faced and dual-sided, and you feel there's been a part of you that has felt as though you've needed to live up to that stereotype. And same with you, Aquarius, that, Aquarius, you a lot of the time get the stereotype of, oh, Aquarius, you're a space cadet. You're off in space. You're an alien. You don't belong to this world, Aquarius. You're so weird and wacky. And you're like, okay, I've got to be like weird and wacky. That's the kind of thing that you've been. And you're kind of now you're like realizing that you need to break free from that and just be yourself. And if your true self is wild and wacky, and your true self is dual natured, and so be it. But are you doing it for you, or are you doing it for others? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what this is about for a lot of you here. That's the breaking the tradition, breaking the stereotypes of who you should be, as opposed to who you really are. Because we see here the masculine. So you're really, really taking control of your truth, and like really gaining this inner power within yourself, where you are expressing yourself in a way that is true, rather than what you have been traditionally. Like, I feel like this is you expressing yourself in ways that you maybe have never expressed yourself before, for a lot of you here, because that's who you really are. And you're not feeling as though you have to express yourself a certain way for people to understand you, that you're able to now express yourself in just the way that is comfortable for you, within you. You're breaking free from those chains. We have the cross, breaking free from tradition, that because that can be about tradition too, because that's the card of spiritual religious energies. So for some of you, this is literally breaking free from a religion that has told you have to be this certain way, you have to be that certain way, you have to act like this, because we see a lot of tradition associated with religion, right? That you, especially to now that, and especially to with, the wild and the sexuality that, and the religious card coming out. So for some of you, it may be very quite literal that, you've been told your whole life, oh, you can't have sex before marriage. You can't be gay, like, and you're like, no, but that's who I am, like, and you maybe have tried to repress that in your life, or tried to hide that part of yourself from others, tried to present yourself as, oh, I'm a good little Christian boy, or I'm a good little Christian girl, and you don't need to be like that anymore, and you're really taking your power back, and finding your true power within yourself. Okay, so we also see the stork. So things are really stirring up for you, when it comes to all this sort of stuff, and breaking traditions within yourself, breaking the tradition of who you've been, who you've shown yourself to be to others. You're breaking that tradition, and you're finding new ways of being yourself. So I actually really like this energy for you. It's a very positive energy, and it's asking you to really keep doing that, and don't be afraid to break away from the person that you have been in the past, or the person that you have shown yourself to be in the past. Just be you. Just be you. Doesn't matter if it's that weird and wacky dual nature. It doesn't matter. If that's you, that's you. If that's not you, that's not you. Okay. If you if you want to be religious, be religious. If you don't want to be religious, don't. It's your truth. It's not mine. It's not anybody else's. It's your truth. Okay. So don't hold yourself to anybody else's standard other than your own. Doesn't matter if that tradition is family, friends, co-workers. Just be you. Just be you. Because it's by being true to yourself that you're going to get yourself the furthest within your soul. Okay, and it's going to stir some new energy up for you as well. It's going to bring some positive changes, and you're really finding that true power within. A lot of strength and power that you have to be yourself. So why not? No one else is as good as being you as you are. That's for sure. Okay, so that's what we have for you guys. Relatively short and sweet for you, but you're more than welcome to check your other placements and see what's coming out for especially your moon sign. Quite strong with the full moon energy. Keep an eye out for the next month's full moon sign as well, being the second full moon in Capricorn. Please subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment and let me know how that resonated for you and your personal situation. And hopefully I'll see you all again soon.